And today we're going to be doing something with fresh cabbage. And I'm taking out a little bit of this center core because I want this tough stuff out of here before I put this in boiling water. So what I'm dealing with is a beautiful head of Savoy cabbage. And it's just washed, and I'm going to leave it whole and put it in a pot of boiling water. So in it goes, and I'm going to put the cover on now. Just a jar, because I want those bitter enzymes to escape and let my vegetable leaves stay green. So we want to make the filling for this, and to do that we have to start in a saute pan with a little bit of olive oil. So a little bit of olive oil, extra virgine, goes into our saute pan. We want to get that hot. Here's some fresh garlic, and we want to use this with the olive oil. So I want to get this in the olive oil and just get it soft, not brown. Give a little flavor to the olive oil. And while we're doing this, of course, those leaves are softening up. And I'm going to take them off one at a time. So in goes the olive oil with the garlic. And now we just want to press on this and get this soft. Now we can add the meats, and we want to brown the meats first. We're basically making a meatloaf mixture, and I'm sure all of you have made meatloaf. And you want to use pretty lean meats. So now I'm going to put the meats in, all of them, the chicken, the beef, and the pork. That was a ½ pound of ground pork, a ¼ pound of the ground chicken, and a ¼ pound of the ground sirloin. I want to break that up now and get that going so it's nice and brown when I take it out. We're going to be using some fresh thyme. Now this is fresh thyme. And you can either find this in your grocery store, or you know what, you can grow this just in a little pot on your windowsill at home. If you didn't have access to fresh thyme, well, then I suppose you could use dried thyme. So you need about 2 teaspoons of that, and I have some here already in my little bowl, and that's going to make this taste delicious. So now you have ready a pan of ice water. You do this for a lot of green vegetables. This is called shocking the vegetables. Keeps them green by preventing them from overcooking once you take them out of the pot. So look, you just want to wilt those leaves down. Then I take them, put them right into the ice water. This is a technique you want to use for green beans, any kind of green vegetable where you really want to retain that green color. And as this cooks, of course, the leaves come off the cabbage one by one. Now I'm going to take this out. So I take it out into a strainer, and then I press on it to get any excess fat out of there. We just press on it. So you want a fairly lean mixture. See how easy this is? Italian cooking is simple. Simple and wonderful. Okay, now we can flavor this. I'm going to give this a little bit of sea salt, a little bit of coarse black pepper. Now, to bind this, we want to add some fresh breadcrumbs. So about 1/3 or ½ a cup of fresh breadcrumbs. Don't use that stuff in a box. Make your own from stale bread. Much, much better. And we want a little lemon zest in here. It's actually the lemon that gives this dish a wonderful flavor. And then we want some cheese. Here we have some pecorino cheese, which is sheep's milk cheese, as you know, which has a little more of a salty taste. It was about 2 tablespoons. And then 2 tablespoons of Parmigiano Reggiano, which you also know is cow's milk cheese. It comes from Emilia-Romagna. We need an egg to help bind this all together. 1 egg. Give that a little beat. And toss that in. See how simple? Then we want to put in some herbs. Here is our thyme. That goes in. And now we also want some fresh parsley. So let me clean off my board a little bit here. and do some flat leaf parsley for you. Remember, that's the only kind of parsley you're going to be cooking with in the kitchen. So you want to mince that down, and then that goes right in with the meat mixture. That's enough. Now, when that's cool enough to handle, you want to mix that up. I like to get my hands into things. Really mix it up well, like you were making a meatloaf. And you see that this is a fairly dry mixture. So we took all of those excess juices out. And now these leaves, you see, are ready to handle. Look at how beautifully green they stayed. So take them out onto something that you can dry them on, keep them open. And you know, every leaf is not going to be perfect. So you may have to patch when you do this. I mean, when you're rolling these, but that's okay. Patching is fine. Nobody says you can't patch when you're cooking. So now you dry them off, and you have to do one more thing. You have to take out part of this center core. Otherwise, it's going to make it a little too difficult to roll. Here's what I mean. You see right there, you have to just cut that little piece out. Otherwise, it makes it difficult to roll. You can either eat this, put it in salads, or you can discard it. The choice is yours. Then, taking some of this mixture, put it here, right in the center, you see? Not too much because you don't want these to explode, but just enough. 2 of these are plenty per person. Then, fold the leaf over, tuck in the sides, like so, and roll. See that? You look at that while I get the pan that's going to go in, because I'm going to do a few more for you. So you want to put this in, you know, a heavy cast iron type dish. Usually, these are made in earthenware at Villa Roncalli, but if you don't have access to that, well, then just use some kind of heavy Dutch oven kind of pot or pan that you have. And I'm just going to brush my casserole dish with a little bit of olive oil. And this is going to go right in there. Tuck that in. Now here's a good example of a not so perfect piece of cabbage. Put another leaf on top. Just keep going, making your bundles. What we have to do is put a little chicken broth with them because we want these to stay moist as we're baking them. So, you want about, 2/3 of a cup of chicken broth. So just pour that in neatly. And then you want to cover these. You want to cover them. Oven is on, 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. Now what we have to do is put on some more cheese. And here we have additional Parmigiano Reggiano. So I sprinkle some Parmigiano Reggiano over the top. This is Parmigiano Reggiano. And you'll know it by looking at the pin dots on the rind that tell you it's the real cheese. Don't buy that stuff that you shake in a box, because that is not real cheese. And only buy as much as you think you're going to use within a short period of time, let's say 2 weeks. This is true Parmigiano, and that's what's here. So now we're going to put this back in the oven uncovered because we want these to brown up a little bit. So they're going back in, for about 10 minutes.